What is up, guys? Dzeeff here, and today we have some exciting fusion support that was just announced in the OCG. These cards are releasing in Dawn of Majesty, so we won't see them in the TCG for a while now, but they are part of a core set, and this is pretty exciting. These cards are pretty nice. We have this new tuner monster with no effect that we're going to talk about, and there's a new instant fusion card that's pretty crazy looking. They even put a magical scientist in the artwork, which is obviously a fantastic older banned monster. So that is a pretty big comparison that they're making there, but we'll talk about that card and more in a minute. First, I want to tell you about today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Ridge Wallets. I've worked with these guys for a long time. I love their products. So if you're sick of your old, bulky, outdated leather wallet here, like the one that I used to use, buy one of these Ridge Wallets. They're sleek, they're industrial, they have a money clip on the back. These are so nice, they're so much thinner, which is great for carrying them in your front pocket, especially because no one wants to have this like huge wallet that's like a giant mess and has a bunch of cards you don't need in it. So the Ridge wallet is great for that. It is just so easy to carry around, and they make them in a ton of different designs and colors. This is their topographic wallet. It is one of the newer wallets, and so far I have been loving it. If you guys are interested in 10% off, all you have to do is go to ridge.com/Dzeeff and use promo code Dzeeff in all capital letters to get that 10% off of your order. Thank you to Ridge Wallet for sponsoring today's discussion. The first new card I want to talk about is Allvain, the final Nothingness, and while this card might not look initially that exciting, I think this card is going to be great. And I don't mean it in like a sea monster of Theseus way where I'm saying like this is one of the best cards of 2021, because that's definitely not the case, but I do feel it is very important to see this card before looking at the other new card, because this card works very well with that other new card. So this is a level 2 Dark Fairy Fusion tuner monster that takes any two normal monsters to make. I don't know why on here it says it's an effect monster. It is definitely not an effect monster, but this is a new fusion monster that could be pretty good. Now obviously you could summon this with instant fusion, and that is pretty good. We have seen instant fusion used in a lot of ways over the years, and not always just to summon effect monsters, so I think that this card could be good in decks that want like one more extender. But obviously instant fusion is currently limited, and I think it will stay that way for quite a while, so you might not be that excited about this new card. Well, that's where the other new card comes in handy, because now we have a new instant fusion type of card. Retort Fusion is a normal spell that says you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn, so it is a hard once per turn. Pay 1,000 life points, just like instant fusion. Special summon one level 6 or lower non-effect fusion monster from your extra deck. This is treated as a fusion summon, but it cannot attack, also destroy it during the end phase. There are two major differences between this card and the old instant fusion, and by the way, the artwork on here is hilarious. I believe it is magical scientist as a flavor pack for the ramen noodles in the instant fusion artwork. That is great, and I love that sort of lore tie-in there. That is really funny. But basically this one can summon level 6 or lower monsters instead of level 5 or lower monsters, so it does open it up a tiny bit, but it has to summon non-effect monsters, not just any fusion monster, which obviously does make the card significantly more narrow in its use than instant fusion. But I do want to remind you guys that over Yu-Gi-Oh's history, instant fusion was used during several formats to summon non-effect monsters. I already mentioned Sea Monster of Theseus. That card was kind of a big joke. I even made a video about it, but there are plenty of other non-effect fusions that have seen play over the years. Dragoness the Wicked Knight is a great level 3 monster that was used for rank 3s, and if you were playing the Speedrite engine, you could even summon Takatomborg from your hand because it was a win. Wind, which was pretty neat. We've also seen the level 4 Earth Warrior fusion monster. That one is a non-effect monster as well. That was played in a variety of decks that wanted to summon rank 4 monsters, and decks like Goki because it was a warrior monster, so you could make a Zold with it, which was obviously a pretty big deal. Beyond that, cards like Rare Fish have seen play. That is a level 4 water non-effect fusion monster. People have played that card to make Bahamut Shark, for example. So already Instant Fusion has seen tons of play over the years with non-effect fusion monsters. And if Konami wants us to use Instant Fusion in that way, instead of giving it an errata, they made this new card. And I love that, by the way. I think even Simo posted about that earlier. This is how you do retrains. There's no reason to errata the effect of Instant Fusion to be this effect just to make a new card, and that's what they did. I love that. So this is a really nice card, and there are a ton of cards that you previously couldn't summon with Instant Fusion that suddenly you can with this new card. Now, not every single type has a level 6 non-effect fusion monster. About half of them do. Certainly this card could be used in a lot of cool ways. I have played Heretics in the past, for example, and they would love a card like this. I know Heretics are getting more support out of Ghosts from the Past, which is pretty nice, so maybe this card could be played in a Heretic deck. Maybe you could play this card alongside level 2 tuner monsters to make level 8 synchro monsters. That could be pretty good as well, because level 8 synchro monsters tend to be some of the best synchros in the entire game. You could play this in a deck using Destiny Hero Malicious to make more rank 6 monsters than you already could. You could really play this in all sorts of decks. It has so many uses. What's really cool though is that if you are playing this card to summon a level 5 or lower non-effect fusion monster, you could also play that 1 copy of Instant Fusion. So you essentially would have 4 copies of this card in your deck. And that's pretty nice. I mean, it seems like Konami wasn't ready to give us Instant Fusion back, and I think that makes sense. The card is crazy powerful. Even without cards like Norden in the game, Instant Fusion is still a great card. We saw it being played in Spiral pretty recently with the Millennium Eyes or whatever. But I think that it's pretty cool that Konami is saying, okay, if you want to summon non-effect fusion monsters for free, which plenty of decks might want to do, you can do that. You just can't summon those crazy powerful effect fusion monsters like you could with Instant Fusion. So I think this is a step in the right direction, and I think it will be a card that sees play. Maybe not immediately, but I think in a combo deck this card is fantastic, and I think it's only a matter of time before people find better and better cards to summon with this. Now back to Sea Monster of Theseus for a second, because I think that card actually got like bought out online when this card was announced. I don't know how crazy that is. Even when Instant Fusion was at 3 copies per deck, people weren't really playing Sea Monster of Theseus in a lot of decks. The card itself was pretty overhyped by Konami. It did see some play in tournaments, but not nearly as much as Konami made it sound like it would, because they said it would be like one of the best cards out of 2017, and obviously that wasn't really the case. So I don't think that that card's buyout is super necessary, because if it wasn't seeing play when Instant Fusion was at 3, will this card really make that big of a difference? I mean, yeah, you now have 4 copies, but was that really the reason people weren't playing it? Because they only had 3 copies instead of 4 copies? I don't really think that's the reason, and I'm pretty sure most people don't think that was the reason. The card itself just wasn't quite good enough to truly see a ton of competitive play. But I think this card has tons of other uses, and I think it might see play with Sea Monster of Theseus if you really wanted a level 5 tuner that you could special summon for 1000 life points. And you would have 4 copies, which could be nice for consistency reasons. But really, I think Retort Fusion will see play in other areas. I'm pretty excited about summoning level 6 non-effect fusion monsters. That could be pretty cool. I think this new tuner monster we looked at, that could be pretty cool as well. So I think that this card will see play. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Let me know in the comment section below what monster you are most excited about summoning with Retort Fusion. Crimson Sunbird perhaps, maybe Sandwich. There are plenty of meme choices with this card, but plenty of ones that are seriously good as well. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.